Not all students are alike. Based on this knowledge, differentiated instruction applies an approach to teaching and learning that gives students multiple options for taking in information and making sense of ideas. Differentiated instruction is a teaching theory based on the premise that instructional approaches should vary and be adapted in relation to individual and diverse students in classrooms. Let's talk about multiple intelligences for a minute. Not every student learns in the same way. That is why Dr. Howard Gardner came up with the theory of multiple intelligences. It's really easy to understand. Since all students do not learn the same way, then why are we teaching them all the same way? Dr. Howard suggests in his lesson plans to present materials in different forms so that all students can understand and process the information being presented to them. Currently, there are 8 multiple intelligences and one that Dr. Howard is still working on. I will show the different intelligences, and later I will show you a way you can use them in your classroom. The first is a body and kinesthetic learner. These students basically learn by doing or moving. They like to manipulate objects, move their bodies around. They like competitive or collaborative sports, drama, and role-playing. They really enjoy physical fitness and physical skills such as balance, strength, and flexibility to help them learn. The second intelligence is existential learning. These learners are very philosophical. Such learners include Aristotle and Einstein. They need to take everything into deep thought. They enjoy questions such as, what was the earth like thousands of years ago? What is our role in the world? And where do I fit in the big picture? The third intelligence is interpersonal. This is a very extroverted person, such as Oprah or Ronald Reagan. They really enjoy person-to-person contact. They do good with group work or cooperative teamwork. They are very observant people, and they pick up on moods, intentions, motivations, and feelings of other people. These people tend to interact very well and are very social. The fourth intelligence is intrapersonal. These are such learners as Helen Keller and Joan of Arc. These students are the opposite of interpersonal. They are very aware of what's going on within themselves. They are good at setting personal goals and working alone. They like to think and self-reflect as opposed to working in a big group of people. The fifth intelligence is math and logic. This is a pretty easy one to understand. It includes learners such as Isaac Newton and Bill Gates. It's just what it says it is. They are very organized and they understand sequencing and outlining. They like patterns and reasoning. They like to solve problems using logic and relationship of things. The sixth intelligence is also very easy to understand. It's the musical learners. This includes Mozart, Stevie Wonder, and many other musicians. They're very sensitive to music, sounds, and patterns, and they enjoy beating out rhythms or singing. Also playing musical instruments. These students frequently listen to music while studying, and it helps them to take in the information better. The seventh intelligence is a naturalist. These are students who are very good with the earth. They would rather have class outside. They use the environment to really hone in on what they need to learn. They enjoy working in nature and working on different projects that have to do with non-material things. The eighth intelligence is verbal linguistic learners. There are many people in these categories, and you will notice that there are public speakers or writers such as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Shakespeare, Dr. Seuss, and Winston Churchill. These students are very good at language and words, and anything including reading, writing, abstract reasoning, and symbolic speaking. They have a good memory for names and dates and a very strong vocabulary. They also have a sensitivity to rhythms, inflections, and sounds of words. And the ninth and final intelligence is visual spatial. These are our artists. These students are very visual and do well with PowerPoint presentations, videos, or visual aids. They like to doodle in their notebooks or enjoy taking notes. They need everything laid out in front of them so they can see it for their brain to process the information quickly. This is all the intelligences, and you can see how many different learning styles there are. You obviously cannot include all these in your classroom in every lesson plan, but throughout the year you can incorporate these several times. I'm not saying you need to use all of them in different ways every time for a child to take something in, because they may learn in more than one way, but it's a lot easier than you think. Take the body parts, for example. There are many ways to teach this and get a lot of multiple intelligences in there. You could read a book about body parts. This appeals to the verbal linguistic students. Then you could get up and do the hokey pokey. This teaches them body parts while it works for the body and kinesthetic learners. Also, the hokey pokey works out well because it teaches for the musical learners too. Then, you can have the students lay down on a huge paper and trace each other's bodies and label the parts. This gives you a good assessment of what they've been learning, as well as appealing to the visual spatial learners. See how easy that was to incorporate half of the multiple intelligences all into one lesson? And that's just for preschoolers. Imagine what you can do with older grades.